Welcome.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
Ladies, gentlemen. All good. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. As you can hear, we got a special guest in the building, motherfucking Travlord. How you doing, man?
Special? Wow. Flatter me right out the gate. I'm good, man. I'm doing well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I know it's been a long time since the last time we fucking podcast. That I don't know, like 7 years. I don't know. I'm just throwing random numbers out.
Yeah. Did we do anything when I was in Texas?
That was one of the questions I was going to ask because, yeah, you said you were East Coast. So are you back in Philly or?
Yeah, I'm back in Philly. I've been here back for 2 years, but I'm wondering if we did any podcasts while I was in Texas. I was in Texas from 16 to 24. So, 8 years, but I don't remember recording with you while I was down there. So it's at least 10 years since 2016, probably.
Yeah, we getting old. So yeah. I think you spot on. Yeah, and life has been lifing. So so you back in Philly. Okay. That's what's up. Yeah. Gave up on Texas or just went back home?
It was time. Texas wore, welcome. I don't say my welcome wore out or it wore on me, but it ran its course, and it was just a convergence of a few things. So I was like, all right, I'm out.
I'm back. Yeah. I'm out this piece. Yeah. I know I've been in Arizona my whole life, except for after I graduated from school for audio engineering. I lived in Cali for like 6 months. And this was back in like 2009. But I was out there on like an unpaid internship. And like, I couldn't imagine what like the cost of living is now. Cause like back then it was like $1,800 a month for like a 1-bedroom apartment that I had to buy my own appliances and all that. So I can only imagine what the people were going through fucking nowadays. That was what, 15, damn near 20 years. Oh my God, damn near 20 years ago.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah. Shit's crazy. Shit is
I hate talking about dates of things that I was deep into adulthood, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that was 15 years ago. Like I was like 33. Like what?
Like what the fuck?
Like I was a grown ass man 15 years ago. Like I still like I was like 15 years ago, right? No.
I had just had that conversation with my pops. One of my oldest sons, one of his high school basketball games. We're at the basketball game, and my pops comes to all the games, him and his girlfriend, and we're sitting there early, and they're playing some music. I forgot what they played, but they played something from the first they had played some shit from like the 50s or 60s. It was like some old ass song, and then they were like, oh my God, I haven't heard this song since I was a kid. Then they started to play more updated music, if you will, and they played some hip hop records from like the 90s. And I was like, I said to my pops, I was like, you realize that was like 30 years ago. So it was like, yeah, when you were talking about your music, you were saying like 30. No, that shit was like 50 years ago. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, like Sheila E. was not putting out albums, 25 years ago.
Was it? Yeah. It was a lot longer than that. But welcome to the pod. We got a handful of things to get into, trying to mix up, everything's happening everywhere all at once. It's quite crazy nowadays, but to start on, I guess you could say a lighter note, shouts out to Sinners at the Oscars. I guess first things first, did you get caught up in the Sinners fad when it came out? Did you catch the movie? Like, yeah.
I still haven't seen Sinners. I don't, fam. If you ask me about a movie after 1999, there is a 98.7% chance that I did not see that movie. Movies aren't my thing. When I don't even really watch TV anymore. I just play PlayStation and scroll TikTok. That's kind of my life.
Yeah.
Almost 46-year-old man. But damn, where was I going with that? Oh, Sinners. On movies, I don't. When I was watching TV and really into media and stuff, it's series. Like I listen to audiobooks and specifically the lit RPG genre.
Okay.
And it ain't nothing but if you put out a series that's a trilogy, that's like, oh, nice tight trilogy. Like most books, just series are endless. Like 8, 12, 15. But series. Plenty series I'm in the middle of that are on book 16 or 17.
That's
or
crazy.
Whatever. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, I'm episodic. Movies don't. Dre want to go see the damn Project Hail Mary because we listened to the books when it first came out, like 8 years ago, whenever it was, and it's a fantastic book. I
keep hearing that.
Great. And I saw the trailer for the movie.
Yeah.
And I was not impressed. Is this going to be a buddy? Are they trying to like do a buddy comedy thing?
Buddy cop agent
with the alien thing? Like, and the alien Rocky's reveal was so like you just didn't know that there was going to be an alien guy at the start of the thing, right? Like,
okay.
And then here he is in the commercials and cartoonish looking stupid little and his voice he said, and this is hard, I know it's just and I'm sorry to get off on a tangent on this, we're gonna talk about Senate, but his voice, he like saying, it's like an organ, right? Like in tones and like crazy octaves and chords. So the way they had to like start like it took them months before like he started like I think he might have had a color element too, and that with you that I can't imagine you trying to talk to Rocky personally. This man speaks in music and colors. You're like, huh? What is he stuttering? No, but yeah. So I wasn't impressed with the trailer, but I agreed to go see it. So I that's a movie I'll see, and it'll be one of the movies I'll check on.
One of the few.
I see Marvel movies, and I saw all the Avatars up to this last one. I still haven't seen it, but it's hard to get me into a theater.
I would say, because I do get what you're saying, especially with like the episodic, the long, like drawn out, rich stories. It's a lot to kind of dive into.
Love me a well-built world.
Yes, yeah, and I'll say that like I
hard
do
to do
think,
that in 90 minutes.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges with like American films, because like I've tried not to, be the person who, the book is better, but 99,000 times out of 100,000, the book is
better be. Like,
it should be.
It's designed to be. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I got real caught up into the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. And I had read all 3 books, really loved the books. And then I had saw that the film was coming out, and it has whoever the action white guy is, I can't remember his name, but the movie came out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. Now, one of the things with the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like it was a very detailed, like slow paced book. It had a whole bunch of stuff in it, but it was like very slow paced and intentional with its storytelling. And I remember watching the American version of the movie, and it was like, oh my God, this feels like it's going in fucking fast forward. Like they're going so quick through everything. It's not allowing anything to breathe. And then I found the Swedish version out in Sweden, they did movies, and they took each book and turned it into 2 movies. So over the course of the 3 books, it was 6 movies. They captured it. It was like, that's how you do it. Like, this is a long, detailed.
That's a commitment, like, what if it doesn't, the first 2 don't do so great? You're in for 4 more, motherfucker? So that's what happens when capitalism and money isn't the end all be all.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to art. Yeah. It's like, so. His Dark Materials was probably my favorite book series just overall, regardless of genre. When they did the show in 2019, there was a part where they were in the fens with the Egyptians, and that was like a 3 to 6 month, running from the authorities.
Yeah.
And in the show, it was a weekend joint. It was
came and went.
Less than 5 minutes of screen time of them. I'm really pulling that out my ass, but it felt so like again, this is my favorite book series.
Yeah.
I never watched season 3.
Yeah, it was. I'm good. Y'all lost me.
Yeah, I saw. Again, just like the damn Rocky in Project Hail Mary, I saw there's a species of animal in that called the mulefa. They have a diamond-shaped frame, so they don't have a spinal cord. They shape their legs. They're herbivores.
Okay.
They have a diamond shape, so they have a foot in the front, a foot in the rear, and 2 on each. Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot I had my phone in my hand, and 2 on each side, and they developed this symbiotic relationship with these trees that drop these seed pods, and the seed pods had a hole in them, and they have a claw on the end, and they basically and ancient lava, basically natural roads. They had wheels.
Oh wow!
Okay. They're these. But they had like these elephant trunks that were very dexterous, but they look. If you look up what the mulefa look like in the series, the HBO, His Dark Materials.
Yeah,
it's like an elephant with 4 legs, like we know them, just a mini elephant with like some blue like paint streaks on it to make it look kind of exotic. And I said, I'm not watching season 3. Like when Variety, when they first got the first looks at season 3, I said, I'm not watching that.
I'm good.
I'm not watching. I was like, Rich, the podcast is over because we were doing podcast for it. I said, I'm not watching season 3. I can't. This is hard to do, and my disdain won't. And book 3, sorry, again, another rant. But book 3 of the original of the His Dark Materials trilogy. The physical book book 3 is thicker than both book 1 and 2 stacked on top of each other. Oh, wow. And I was like, and they're just going to do 8 episodes like the first 2 seasons? Not. They're just going to cram a bunch of shit or cut a bunch of stuff out that's super important. I don't want no parts of it. So,
I'm not gonna watch you butcher this. Yeah. And I guarantee, especially with the alien, with the creature that you had mentioned, I guarantee, again, going back to capitalism, because capitalism is the root of all the fucking problems in America. I guarantee they.
By America, you mean the world.
The world, actually, yeah. Let's expand it. Let's be honest. The world. I guarantee that they had some executive. They're doing their creative direction. They're putting together their storyboard.
They're listening to the audiobook to get inspiration, so they know exactly the original. Yeah.
And I guarantee executive came in. It was like, that's not going to translate to people. You got to make it look more relatable. Like, let's just get a regular animal and just make it blue and just make it more easier to digest. I guarantee that's what fucking happened. Guaranteed. So fucking A. Well, I will say with Sinners.
Back to Sinners.
With Sinners, I will say, because I am a movie.
Sinners stay getting disrespected.
I am a movie person. I like all types of stories. I especially like the long drawn out stuff that you really got to dive into the universe. And I do like you could especially get me with a movie if I have to watch it more than once. Like, that's always my thing. If I have to watch this movie more than once to kind of get everything, then you really got me hooked, because then I'm really trying to dive in and see a bunch of stuff. I will say that Sinners was the first time in 10, 20 years that I had went to the movie theater more than once to watch the movie.
How many days did you go on a Friday and a Sunday, or did you let a week go by?
I
had to go
spaced it
back to
out.
back weekends. Okay.
I spaced it out. So I watched it the first time, just in the regular cinemas, and I watched it. I did the whole deep dive. You know, a bunch of people were kind of calling out like various little Easter eggs that you didn't catch before. And then shouts out to Ryan Coogler. I will give it to him because he was the main reason why I went to see it again. The second time I went to see it in IMAX, and it was after he had did this long like video presentation on YouTube where he was talking about like film ratio aspects, and he was talking about filming and aspect ratios and a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like the nerdism that he was getting into with the films, he got me super excited to watching in IMAX. And then sure enough, watching in IMAX, there were certain elements, like there was this thing with these vultures that a lot of people like pointed out, like you could only see the vultures every single time that they popped up in the story in IMAX. It was a couple of other ones in the regular format. It kind of cropped out the vultures or whatnot. So it was a bunch of different little key things like that in IMAX, and with the screen just being bigger and the full aspect ratio, you could see some stuff that you didn't quite see the first time. And so I will say kudos to Ryan Coogler. I am a big fan of dude, and I hate to be the one to be like, Ryan Coogler, my introduction to him was Black Panther. I didn't see Fruitville Station or Creed or any of that other stuff that he did. He did Black Panther because I'm a Marvel geek, and I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. And I started rocking with him after that.
But I mean, it doesn't matter to like band nerds that saw them at Joe's bar before I saw them in the garage practicing in high school. Everybody.
We had 30 followers.
Yeah. So just because you found him when at his or at the time his peak.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you peak. You get a bunch of new motherfuckers that find you, and then they go back.
Shit, what is this? I'm gonna check this out.
They go back. Yeah, and if they're fans, they're gonna definitely go, oh, what's this guy done? What led me to or what led him to this point. So
exactly. Yeah. And speaking of Marvel too, with him, I know I didn't do a full deep dive into this, but I know a lot of the rumors are a lot of not necessarily the full-on story of Sinners, but a lot of the costume design and a lot of the themes of it, if you will, are rumored to be that was the original Blade Marvel background of that movie, because the Blade movie that they're supposed to be doing with Mahershala Ali, however you say his name, that was when that originally
did he drop out.
I think it's still up in there. Like they keep pushing it back, and then he keep like, I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff with it. I don't think the movie will ever see the day of light. But when they originally talked about it, they talked about it being this period piece, and they were talking about it being in the 1800s, and they talked about a whole bunch of stuff. And then the rumor is that Ryan Coogler was one of the creative minds behind it, and he was building all this stuff or whatever. They couldn't come to agreement on the script, and so then Ryan Coogler took all of his ideas that he created, and then he moved on and made his own original screenplay, which then turned into Sinners. So
they used actual like set pieces and
in like costumes, and then even rumored some of the of course the Sinners in its honest form, like in its current release form, basically you could say it's about black capitalism, and you could say that it's about white people being culture vultures and kind of coming in and sucking the life force out of everyone. So I think a lot of those elements weren't necessarily in the Blade one to begin with, but a lot of the themes, a lot of the visuals, a lot of the costume design, and a lot of that is reportedly what the original Blade idea was supposed to be. So, yeah. So now I will say kudos to, and I give it to him. Kudos to him for kind of owning his own IP, because that was the whole thing. Once he went ahead to do the Sinners, and he got with, I have no idea what production company he worked with, but he's gonna essentially own the masters. I think it's after like 20 years. This turned into
Hollywood turned on him like they did.
Oh, of course. You hate to see a black man shining.
Yeah. Like if anybody's going to do some shit that's never been done and get a deal that's never been done, it's like, oh, Tom Cruise or
or Brad Pitt or one of the Leonardo DiCaprio, one of them. But nope, motherfucking Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
And yeah, so at the Oscars, I will say that so Sinners did turn to be a little groundbreaking, if you will, at the Oscars. It was the first film to earn 16 Oscar nominations. They only ended up winning 4 of the 12, and the 4 that they ended up winning was one for cinematography, which again it was a beautifully shot movie. The next one was for the music original score, and shouts out to Ludwig Göransson, or however you pronounce his last name.
Oh, the homie, yeah.
I've been rocking with Ludwig for quite some time. He, of course, he did a lot of stuff with Childish Gambino in the beginning of his career. The two of them met during Community. So I've been rocking with Ludwig for a long time. So shouts out to that brother for, I think this is like his 3rd Oscar or something like that for original scores. And then Michael B. Jordan won for actor in the leading role. And then Ryan Coogler won for the writing for original screenplay. Now I will say, and I know you're not a big movie person, but 2 or 4 of the notable losses that people were kind of questioning was one was the actress in a supporting role, the beautiful, and I know I'm a butcher her name, Wanmi Masuka, the British black woman who was she's the leading love in there, but then she was in the Low-Key series. She's one of the TVA agents. Wait, let me bring up her picture.
I know who you. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay, she was up for actress in a supporting role, and she lost to Amy Madigan, who was on Weapons, and Weapons was another pretty good movie. I thought it was a phenomenal, interesting horror film, and I will say I know. I know a lot of black people were upset that she lost out to this white woman. I will say though, Amy fucking killed it on Weapons. I did not know that was her. Her role as that character was similar to, like, I think part of the reason why like Michael B. Jordan won as the leading actor was he really dove into those characters, Stack and
Smoke.
And Smoke, even down to like how he was doing his facial expressions to give one of them dimples while the other one didn't have dimples. Like he really like deep dove into that. And I will say that was the same thing with Amy with the Weapons movie. She really like dove into that character. So I do think that it was worthy of her winning. The one that I did not quite agree with was so the actor in supporting role, Delroy Lindo, lost to Sean Penn in the One Battle After Another movie. And One Battle After Another was another movie that won a whole bunch of awards. I think they got Best Directing, they got Best Picture. It was quite a few things. I'm not too fond of Sean Penn winning that. One Battle After Another was a pretty good movie, but as it's
why? Because he just wasn't like thorough in it or something. Like was his character corny? What?
His character was weird. So like the easiest way to describe One Battle After Another is you have Sean Penn, who has, it's spoiler alert for those listening to the podcast, I haven't seen it, spoiler alert, but yeah, so Sean Penn is like this army guy who ends up having sex with Tiana Taylor. Ends up having a child by this man. Sean Penn is in the military. Leonardo DiCaprio ends up raising the kid like it's his own, but Sean Penn is the actual father. Sean Penn is in the military, and basically he's trying to get in with like these white supremacist KKK people, and then these motherfuckers find out that he got this mulatto daughter, and he's like, yo, you got to get rid of that black bitch. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm in my older age, maybe I'm getting racially sensitive, but like it was a very weird like black woman fetish type movie. And again, it was a good movie, but there was just a lot of weird elements to it. And Sean Penn's character, I don't know, I think maybe he did do a good job. I was grossed out by his character, and I think that's mostly why I wasn't fucking rocking with it. So
yeah, that's understandable.
But yeah, kudos to Sinners for cleaning up. Again, like I said, they won 4 out of the 16. I think even winning the 4 is fantastic for them. There was no way they were going to win all those fucking Oscars because, quite frankly, at the end of the day, as we know, the Oscars, it's a secret society, if you will. You either are in with that crowd or not.
Quite literally.
Like quite literally. So kudos for them winning for what they did. But I think overall the greatest message for me was that Sinners came a long way from that fucking Variety report that came out after Sinners' first weekend, when they had stated that they were a long way away from being profitable after opening with
$61 million
in a weekend. Couldn't celebrate that they're a long way from profitable. So again, fuck you, Variety. And kudos to Black Twitter. I gotta give it to him, because I don't think people are ever gonna get over Variety, because like that whole fucking night, I don't have live TV, so like I followed everything online afterwards and saw a bunch of the clips on like TikTok and Twitter. But every single time Sinners won something, people were like tweeting at Variety like, "How about that, motherfucker?" Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah. And it also turned out to be like one of the most, certainly a top 10. What do they call it? The money. Like, they call it in movies. Gates.
Yeah,
not
the
gates.
Gates. Yeah.
But they had like, whatever, I guess ticket sales. But they had like, they were a top 10, money generating movie of the year. So
exactly. And then, kind of like you were mentioning earlier with the universe, I would like
and it got a bunch of Oscars. It's usually the opposite. The Oscar movies are the ones that nobody saw, and there's some like period piece or some overly, blind lady plays the piano type thing.
Normally every year it's them announcing somebody won, and it's the great majority of people are like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard of that. So yeah, so they got the commercial success and they got the critical acclaim. And I do think that Ryan Coogler has a universe there, because there's so many other like backstories. There was a whole bunch of stuff with Smoke and Stack and like their time in Chicago and starting fucking gang wars between the Italians and the Irish. You can do a whole movie about that. There was the fucking Native Americans who was whooping that white vampire's ass all throughout the beginning of the movie, that then dipped out when the sun went down. You could turn that into a whole movie. Like, he has a universe there, and he will own the masters to all that in 20-something years. So kudos to that brother for doing the damn thing, and hopefully paving the way for more people to follow in his footsteps. So most definitely. Also, speaking of people setting precedents and hopefully paving the way for other people, I got to give it to you, because you were the first person that put me up on this motherfucking Afroman trial.
I did? Oh.
You had sent me the first video on TikTok, and I think I have that clip. We'll play it in a second. But yeah, when I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? I was so confused. I was like, wait, Afroman's on trial? Then I did the deep dive and absolutely fell in love with the motherfucking lore. And yeah, Afroman was essentially on trial this week for some viral music videos that happened after a 2022 police raid. And actually, I think I got a clip. Let me play this first clip real quick. This is the background for the people who have not heard of this Afroman lawsuit.
And police officers that violate my home, steal my money, should not be allowed to sue me.
In August of 2022, Adams County deputies raided the home of Joseph Foreman, better known as the rapper Afroman. They had a search warrant tied to an investigation into possible drugs and kidnapping victims.
They didn't charge me for any crimes. They didn't find no large amounts of marijuana or whatever narcotic they were saying. They didn't find any kidnapping victims.
Afroman was never charged with a crime after the raid. Deputies seized thousands of dollars in cash that was later returned, but Afroman says about $400 was never recovered. The raid also left damage throughout his home, and he says the department told him it was not responsible for paying for the repairs.
The guy started laughing and waddling his head. He goes, "We're not required to do that." And they were unapologetic.
Afroman used his own security footage from the raids in a music video to make money to pay for the damages sustained to his home.
I got freedom of speech, and then I used my personal life to write my music. I was going to clean my room, but then I got out. Will you help me repair my gate? Will you help me repair my door? I'm singing about what actually happened to me.
Deputies who appear in the video are now suing the rapper for the damages caused by their faces being in the videos.
Hey, we raid your house, we steal your money, we disconnect your cameras. Now we need to sue you for saying something about it.
Afroman filed a countersuit for the damages to his home, and Judge Jonathan Hines dismissed those charges in February.
They dismissed all of my claims with the click of a mouse in some little office somewhere without a hearing.
Afroman believes this lawsuit violates his free speech rights as an American and as a working artist in the United States.
As a working rapper that raps for a living and pays taxes to America with rap money, I need raw materials. Raw materials is my life experiences.
Yeah, so the man Afroman got raided, wasn't feeling that shit and decided that hey, I'm gonna go ahead and use that fucking footage. And it's crazy too, because so not only did he make, you know, some music videos that went viral, I did not know he made a whole fucking album called Lemon Pound Cake, and the great majority of them songs he's going in on the motherfuckers on multiple, like that whole album is about, yo, fuck the police and fuck y'all for raiding my house.
Yeah, especially fuck these 4 to 6 specific
these
police.
Ones in particular. I don't like any of them, but these ones in particular, yo, fuck them.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was deserved. Everything he did and everything he said, one was true. I mean,
yeah,
there were no lies. I mean, I guess you're saying I fucked your wife, and some of it's like just, you know, obvious locker room talk. But you know, the other stuff, he's just like, hey, here's the footage. You know, I'm just saying what's on the camera.
Just, yeah, I'm just describing these events.
He just, I mean, you see it in his eyes. He wanted to put his gun down and cut him a slice. Like, he was into that cake.
And speaking of that, I think I have that clip for Lemon Pound Cake, the Lemon Pound Cake video.
You were called Officer Pound Cake by Mr. Foreman?
Multiple times. You received hundreds of pound cakes at work from different people.
They were sending a pound cake.
The context of that name comes from a music video that Mr. Foreman created, correct?
I don't know where he got it at, but you'd have to ask him that question.
The Adams County Sheriff laid down my door. Then I heard the glass break.
You would admit that you with the glasses can buy a lemon pound cake on the counter?
Yes.
And that is security footage from the search of Mr. Foreman's residence?
I assume, yes.
But there's no question that you during the search?
Yes.
There is question?
No, that was me, yes.
The Adams County Sheriff laid down my door. Then I heard the glass break. They found no kidnapping victims, just a living pound cake. Mama's living pound cake. It tastes so nice. It made the sheriff wanna put down his gun and cut him a
slice.
Lemon pound cake. He wanna put down his slice.
Lemon pound cake.
Trending on TikTok. Lemon pound cake. He's a family guy. Lemon pound cake. Crunchy because he got hot. Lemon pound cake.
Pound cake. Yo. Fucking A. And that
Amazing
is
stuff.
the definition of yes, and turning lemons into lemonade or lemons into fucking lemon pound cake in this instance. That is absolutely hilarious. The fact that for the people only listening to it, like literally, you know, they break into the door, they come in with their guns ablazing. The guy is walking in the kitchen. He walks, he takes a look over, he sees the lemon pound cake, he turns and looks back. Oh shit, I kind of want me a slice of that.
I mean, just a classic double take, like of ooh, you know, like you can hear the ooh. You can't actually hear it, but you see it in his eyes that he went ooh.
What do we have here?
And it was in like a classic glass cake thing with the clear, you know, dome lid thing that goes over it. So it was just perfectly, you know, shined up and basically put on display, and he couldn't help himself. It's such a natural reaction, and to be mad, I mean, what kind of a cornball sucker? Like, what kind of just? You're mad that people are delivering pound cakes and leaving them at your desk.
Free food. Come on, man. Be grateful.
Fam, I would have. Unless he's mad, like I've gained 18 pounds in the last 6 weeks, fucking with y'all on this damn cake. You know, unless that's his complaint, he needs to shut the fuck up and, you know, enjoy
that damn pound cake. Yeah.
And then Lisa up there crying. I thought that was the one that they might have like you calling this lady a lesbian and she wears strap on to work. You know, like it was just crazy. You know, I thought maybe like it's kind of super personal in a way that's not cake or calling Sheriff Randy something is a son of a bitch. And like, but they have to go through like. So I don't think this happened, but it's like, so is your mother a bitch? Is she mean? Is she a, you know, like, is there any validity to? It's just, it's just absurd, and I think it was like kind of like Tiger King during the pandemic. It was just kind of one of the things that we just kind of needed at that, you know, like we need to see some, even if it's just this tiny bit, we need to see some like justice, you know, see some arrogant,
some small
arrogant, you know, dickhead cops get put in their place on camp. Like, and we got to see the whole trial, or certainly the highlights, the best parts. That like they made such a bonehead move trying to sue for millions of dollars. And I don't know if I sent you the one video, but the one woman was like, if you watch closely, like the judge wasn't particularly happy with the verdict.
Oh, really?
He didn't thank the jury on the way out. There's some pretty telling things if you know what to look for, if you're familiar with how this, well, not even that, but if you're just familiar with procedures.
How the
you know, they said they thought if this was a judge, not a jury trial, but a judge's one, he would have probably went in favor for the cops. But the jury was like, no. And I'm sure they deliberated in about 20 minutes. Like, no.
I know, because literally the trial was only 3 days, right? Because I think it started Monday. It started this whole thing
happened this week.
Happened this week, yeah. And actually, before I forget, because you mentioned what was he calling her? Lick 'em down, Lisa.
Lick 'em low, Lisa.
Lick 'em low, Lisa. Yes, I think I got a clip of Lick 'em low, Lisa, and her breaking down in on trial. No, and like you said, I too also like that was one of the ones who I kind of, if any of them kind of like, I guess you could say, crossed the line that maybe he was found, guilty of. And that honestly, that was probably the one that the judge really was upset about, seeing that white woman crying on stage. That was probably the one that really plucked at his heartstrings.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. The whole thing was embarrassing. And yeah, again, it was just one of those things we needed.
Yeah.
Right.
We needed
right
that
time.
Yeah. And that's always, it's one of those things too, because I am glad that he won. Anytime underdog, beats the fucking police or any, people of authority, it's always a good thing. Yeah. And then also, I think if he gets in trouble for this sets a weird precedent with with free speech and parody law. Cause like a good example is like fucking Saturday Night Live. Every fucking week, Saturday Night Live gets out there. They're making fun of Trump. They're making fun of what's going on in politics and what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that really opens up the door of like, oh shit, if we can't do parodies or whatever, that's a whole nother fucking level of censorship that we're going to start running into. So, So yeah, absolutely motherfucking insane. But kudos to Afroman. I'm not the biggest fan of Afroman because if I remember correctly, I think he's a Trump supporter.
No.
I think he's a Trump supporter, but I'll still take this as a common man victory. We needed this. Fuck the police.
Even Trump supporters shouldn't get their shit kicked in and and disrespected and sued.
We're still Americans. Yes. Yeah. And again, we have to make sure that we're not setting a precedent because what they do to them, they're going to do to us. What they do to us, so on and so forth. We're all in this together. We got to figure out a way to fight the fight together. So. And actually, speaking of parodies, did you see all the hoopla with your boy Jack Harlow's new album?
I did. I didn't know. The first thing I saw was Jack, not Jake, right?
Jack Harlow, yeah, Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow. He named it Monica, and I'm like, I don't know shit about Jack Harlow. All I know is he's the one that I'm Vanilla Baby, something.
Something in your whips and chains, and
that's the only thing I know about Jack Harlow. I didn't particularly care one way or the other. But I certainly enjoyed the roasting this boy has gotten the last couple of days, and it seems well earned. Like,
it seems well earned, and I feel that. He didn't do himself any favors. And I think, honestly, a lot of the backlash came from the initial clip when he did the interview and when they were talking about, white artists or whatever, once they become established and how they go to making more white music. And he mentioned how he got blacker.
He thought he was being an ally. No, I got blacker.
Yeah. And actually,
you could just be like, no, I'm not. I wouldn't. Like, there's so many ways to phrase, what he, wanted to say without going there. Like, there's no need for that, because you're just ostracizing white people, and black people gonna look at you like, no, the fuck you didn't, Jack Harlow. like stop it. And, so you're putting yourself in between, two cultures, two sides of and you're not going to win. You're going to lose both, and it's somebody should have gotten that man's ear.
Putting yourself in a very bad space that any PR person would have told you that this was I won't necessarily say career suicide, but this was a bad decision to say this, and like someone should have edited that clip, or they should have redid that before they came out. And actually, wait, I do have the clip from the interview. So this is exactly what Jack Harlow said on this podcast about going the R&B route with his music.
White rappers are afforded more freedom to change their genre. True or false?
I might have to think about that.
I'd like to hear your answer to Joe's question, but also then talk about what I feel is like the radical twist of what you have chosen.
Well, I'll piggyback off what John's saying. John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
I got blacker.
Black music.
Deeper into blackness. So was that conscious? Was that a little twist on the typical move that white rappers make, which is to retreat back into traditionally white sounds?
It certainly made what I already wanted to do even more appealing. Absolutely.
Because you like pushing that boundary, that line?
I think I love black music. I love the sound of black
Who
music.
among us?
Yeah, I love the sound of black music.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm hyper aware of the politics of today, that safer landing spot that a lot of my white contemporaries have found. And of course, it appealed to me to do something that I felt like at a time when there's plenty of people expecting me to take some of the routes y'all are taking.
Yep.
To take the route that not only might not be expected, but is also the one I genuinely want to take. So all the stars aligned in that way for me, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend like what you're talking about. I was like, I guess you're right. I knew that there were multiple things appealing about this route, but I also came to the decision, I'm proud to say, off of what feels good in my ear.
How hot is hot?
So yeah, that was Jack Harlow's take, and I'll start with love. You know, I'll start with love, and I'll say I will give him kudos because that, in the sense that typically that is what artists do. You have the Miley Cyruses, Justin Bieber, Post Malone, Jelly Roll, even Justin Timberlake with that Man in the Woods. You have a lot of these people who they do the black sound, people gravitate to it. Oh, this is different. Look at this. And then people eat it up. And then, after a project or two, those numbers, you realize that they, plateaued. They're not going up higher anymore. And it's like, okay, cool. Time to freshen things up. Let me go back to my white roots, if you will. And so I'll give them kudos for getting blacker, if you will. But I think him getting his back kicked in was literally like there was a better way for him to approach that. Better words, just a better way he could approach that situation.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to call myself out because I didn't see the clip until now. Okay. I'd only seen it written out. There was nothing wrong with what that man said about the I got blacker. And clearly he wasn't saying I got blacker, but my sound, I don't even mean obviously physically, but he's not saying I personally in my soul or in my walk or in my soul, I didn't get black. Like, no, my sound, I went, because the guy's saying you didn't go into a wider, safer, no, I went blacker. I went fucking goddamn Casey and JoJo, right? There was nothing wrong with that. So if all that comes up, if everything, all the lint condition and the music, Rothschild or music no soul child, if all that's coming from that comment,
and
I might want to reconsider me enjoying so heartily. I mean, funny's funny, but it's like, damn, he didn't really do nothing to deserve all that.
I think the specific problem because you're right, nothing that he said was wrong in that instance. I think it was the I got blacker. That one sentence, if he would have phrased that one sentence a little better, I think it would have translated better with people. But it didn't. And of course, we're, us, and we get so much information all day, every day or whatever. A bunch of people only saw the headline of the I got blacker. It was like, yo, wait, what the fuck?
Case in point. I think if he's getting interviewed by Charlemagne or Joe Budden and he said the same thing, I don't think, one, because I doubt they would have been like, oh, what you mean? Because they would have understood. Again, I'm saying the same words or certainly phrasing the question like the white interviewer did. If Joe Budden or somebody said the same, I want to make sure I don't want to get any goddamn emails. If Joe Budden said the same thing and set him up in the same exact way that white interviewer guy did, and he said in that kind of not flippant, but in that very laid back way, like, I got blacker. One, I don't think any of the guys in the studio would get mad at him.
Yeah.
But then I think visually, people would have said, "Oh, they're not mad at him in real time." And it wouldn't have even, the cortisone levels wouldn't have been rose up. Yeah, and people would have just, and that's that's a thing I think people have to deal with. I don't want to make it that political and be like on the left, but people that have that ideology, it's like, I get it. You want to call people out and you want to, but everything isn't like the goddamn end of the world, or I don't think Jack Harlow had any.
He didn't have ill intentions.
And I think I think it's so obviously the opposite. He's probably so hurt. Like, what did I do? Like, I love this fucking music because of course you do, right? Like, I don't think Jack Harlow's being disingenuous with when he said, I just did what sounds better in my ear. Like, those are probably his genuine feelings. He's probably like
deeper into the music I love.
I don't try to be like, wigger boy, well, I guess he kind of, you named your album Monica. That's kind of what it is.
And
I forget. It didn't really start with the people were looking for something after he said, "Oh yeah, I'm dropping the album and it's called Monica." Yeah, and they were like, "Hold up!" And then they saw that.
And if I'm not mistaken with the Monica title also, because that was the thing, he did Monica and it sounds like a play off of my nigga. And if I remember correctly, when the Monica title came out, I think he got questioned somewhere and I think he stumbled through an answer. Like he didn't have
you gotta have a thing to say when people are going to ask you the obvious question, especially if it's a white person. Well, what does that mean, Jack? Trying to set you up.
And you could have been like, Monica was an ads, or Monica was this, the epitome of this perfect woman that I have. And the fact that
it's an R&B-ish style. So he could have, I fucks with The Boy Is Mine is one of my favorite songs. And shout out to Monica and Brandy. I don't know anything besides, stumbling over, like have something ready. Like that's on him.
Yeah. And so I think those two things, and I think you called it too with the visual, because I didn't even think about that. The visual of three white guys having a conversation and one saying, I got blacker. I think that visual too also raised those cortisol levels for people. And again, unfortunately, there is a lot of that on both sides, but on the left, there is instances where they'll take something, what's the phrase? Take a mountain out of a mole. I always forget the saying or whatever.
Oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yes, out of a molehill.
And like, oh shit, there go that molehill. Let's let's mountainize that motherfucker.
Now, I do have to say though, because for those who are unaware, so after that clip, some pictures from like one of the music videos or something came out, and he had like the Music Soul Child 90s, backpack hip hop, soulful R&B type hat on, and for at least 4 or 5 fucking days, we were getting like hundreds of new nicknames for him nonstop. And actually, I have a list of some of my favorites. He was called West Side Gun Control Laws. Music Stole Child, you called that one. He was called Neo-Nazi. January Sits in Park. Disingenuine. De La Stole. Someone called him Most Definitely Not. He was also Proud Boys to Men. I love this one, Charlie Kirk Franklin. This is a deep cut one for those who know. They called him Yaqub Kweli. Jew Hill, Music Rothschild. They flipped the Tony.
Jew Hill?
You didn't get the Jew Hill. They hit him with the Jew Hill.
Somebody like, I'm Irish Catholic. Like, what the fuck?
someone did a play off of the Tony and did honky honky honky.
Yeah,
and
they put the little accent over the E. That was a good one.
And then lastly, one of my favorites, Massa P. They hit him with the Massa P.
A couple of those I hadn't seen or heard. So,
bro, anybody who follows me on Twitter, I know y'all got sick of it. I was retweeting damn near every single one of those that popped up on the timeline. I had me a damn good that was as fun of a few days on Twitter as with the fucking Alabama or the Montgomery boat roll. That was a celebratory moment in Black Twitter history.
Yeah.
Now, someone else who's getting a fucking back kicked in by Black Twitter. Have you been keeping up with this whole LaRussell debacle over the past week or so?
Yo, listen, peoples. We all haven't sent. We all haven't sent.
We all haven't sent.
We all haven't
sent.
The devil too.
God.
Mussolini too. He said Adolf too. Like, motherfucker.
Actually, I do have the clip for the people who didn't hear his song that he should have listened to his fucking engineer. But
yes.
If it's one time to listen to your engineer, you should have listened to your engineer here.
I made this record and I sent it off to my engineer, and he calls me. He said, "Man, you probably shouldn't put this out." I said, "Why? What the hell happened?" He said, "You know, you talking about Epstein, there's a lot of shit going on." And I said, "Thank you for calling me. I'm finna drop this." That's exactly why we need it. Because everybody sit and be silent. And the goal of an artist is to express the times and say all the things that nobody else want to say or know how to say. I'm not perfect, and neither is the president. Was guiltier than a nigga hiding evidence. You can't be mad that they heated if you don't let them vent. Even the devil was heaven sent. Even Malcolm was heaven sent. Even Martin was heaven sent. Even Kanye was heaven sent. We all heaven sent. Donald too. We all heaven sent. Epstein too.
Oh my God.
We all heaven sent. Adolf too. We all heaven sent. Even you.
Bro. We gotta call a spade a spade. Like, that's some shit.
Was that like were all those names written? Because he wasn't necessarily like on beat. He was kind of off beat a little bit when he was saying the names. So I'm wondering, was he improv here?
Yeah.
Like, did he say? He probably said, "I know I want to say Donald. I know I want to say Epstein, but now I need to run off some other names." Yeah. Oh, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Adolf Hitler, of course. Like, what?
And I really hope that was he was
the engineer needs to put out a TikTok. The engineer needs to be like, "Hey, I'm Frank. I'm the LaRussell's engineer.
This is what happened.
If you want a good engineer, clearly you know I do good work by what I said not to do.
Clearly I got an ear for this shit.
Hire me. Here's my fucking IG handle or whatever. But like, the engineer needs to do, get himself paid off of this.
And I hope it was improvised, because if he wrote that, I am highly offended that he put Malcolm and Martin in between the devil and fucking Donald Trump. Like going through me being someone who I was a hip hop artist back in my heyday, I understand the creative method of sitting there writing. And that is one of the things you kind of make sure, hey, I'm making this point, I'm flowing into this. You're making sure that like it's flowing and it's going in a certain order. And it's just for you to jump from the devil to Martin and Malcolm and then over to fucking Donald, Epstein, and Adolf. Like, what the fuck is going on? And
Epstein too.
And I think one of the main things too that a lot of people, other than the fact that the song was absolute horseshit. It was a garbage ass track. A lot of people were calling out how he used the definition of heaven sent incorrectly, because the definition is what is it? An event or opportunity that occurs at a favorable time. That doesn't.
So by definition, we can't all be heaven sent.
We're not heaven sent, but like you didn't even use the phrase correctly.
I didn't know. I just like him. He said, "Oh, it has heaven in it and sent." So we're all sent to heaven.
And I think what he was trying to get at is that saying that, you know, God created all these people, and so even if that is your point, like, what comes after that? Like,
God created the devil and hell and every other bad and fucking tumors in babies. Like, what?
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, what comes after that? Like, okay, cool. Like, God sent all of this horrible shit to Earth. Okay, now what's next? Like, what's the point that you're trying to get at? You can't just be like, God sent them, God love them, God love them.
Right. Yeah, God sent a fucking plague as well. Like, frogs fucking falling from the sky. Like, gotta love, frog hail.
Now, people ate him up fucking alive and went in on him for a couple days, and then actually, so he has since doubled and tripled down. So first, I have a clip of him.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, not surprised in the slightest. But so first things first, this is LaRussell doubling down, releasing a video after a couple days of all the backlash.
Good morning, America. Hey, the past few days, I've been working, so I ain't got to really be on social media. I cut my shit, I schedule it, and I post, and I get into the world. The homies briefed me yesterday on all the outrage. And my first thought was, niggas ain't that slow.
Oh my God.
But I go and look, and niggas that slow. Just listen to the music.
Just listen.
Like, there's no way niggas hear that clip and they you support Epstein. When the world be in despair, sometimes you need realization. And that realization for me through this song was like, damn, the same God who created Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, who did so many great things, is the same God that created Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, who did so many evil things. And it's crazy the range of what a human life is capable of. It's capable of changing the world and detrimenting the world. That's the purpose of.
I don't. I'll cut him off at that point.
Like, I got what he was trying to say. Like, when I first goddamn heard the song, it's just a terrible song.
It's still a terrible take.
I still don't want Malcolm X and Martin Luther King fucking sandwiched between goddamn Jeffrey Epstein and Adolf Hitler. Like,
Adolf Hitler.
That's not the flex, or that's not the your God is fucking stupid. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, he's or evil or a dumbass or a troll or all of the above, a fucking psychopath. Like, yes, he had the option to not create fucking Hitler.
Those horrible people.
Because he knows what Hitler's gonna do, and he's like, nah, the world needs this.
No, they need this. They need this pain. They need this.
So shut up with your make believe bullshit.
And then he, in the clip too, in the caption of the clip, he doubled down also and said something like to the extent of, I meant heaven sent, not heaven bound. So again, he still doesn't know the definition of heaven sent. He's still using that incorrectly.
That's the least of his problems.
Yeah, that's the least of your problems.
Again, I understand context. I get what he was trying to say. I'm not going to be pedantic and be like, oh, just technically. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. And what you were trying to say was fucking stupid.
Stupid.
I don't need it explained to me.
He has since tripled down in the situation, as he tweeted out this morning, good morning, America. This is my final statement on this bullshit. So he getting mad now. The selective outrage and fake righteousness is a joke. It's always us. Y'all been complicit in supporting serial killers, murderers, drug dealers, pimps, and niggas destroying their community for years. But me saying God made me and he also made these sick ass niggas is where the line is drawn. Cut it out. If you
two things can be true. Sorry.
Yeah, two things can be true. That I say that so often.
It got to be one or the other.
It's two things can be true. He says, if you're gonna be outraged about it all. Turn the murder music off and every other detrimental form of art you consume. I'm one of the few niggas in this shit smiling and putting good into the ecosystem. I'm gonna keep saying and doing what I want with my art because I'm a fucking artist. Y'all can keep being fake outrage and complicit with everything else.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. He's an artist. He can put his stuff out. Nobody's gonna listen to it. Nobody, or when you put out some other obviously dumb shit, people are gonna clown it. Or you won't even get this amount of attention the next time because it'll be like, oh, old news. This guy's back being fucking Clown Shoes McGee again. So.
And just like you said, he has the right as an artist to express himself any way that he wants to. And then the fans have a right.
We have the right to be like, boy,
that's some bullshit. Now, I will say, and I hate to say it because like LaRussell, I can't say that I know a lot about
his rap
music.
name.
Yeah, LaRussell is his rap name.
LaRussell, okay.
Yeah, LaRussell. So apparently, like before he got signed to Roc Nation, he put out like 40 albums independently or something like that. So
he's what?
Yes. So this man, I don't know exactly how many years.
People know who this guy is before.
He has been around as an independent artist for quite some time now. He reportedly has put out like 40 fucking albums. He's been around nonstop.
That's not hard to do.
And I would say that, being an independent artist, you could definitely put out 40 projects on, not going through a major label.
Oh, yeah. Not even like the volume, but just the idea of, the technology and everything that's been around for the last 20, 25 years. People have been, Master P was selling. I don't want to
But so I would say the people outside of the hip hop circle who know him, he initially went viral. This was about a month or so ago. I talked about it on the last episode where he had announced that he had signed a distribution deal with Roc Nation. And so during that interview, he was having a conversation with some people about Lil Wayne. He was talking about how he grew up on. Deal. Yeah, I think it's distribution. I could be incorrect, but it's just some type of deal with Roc Nation. He still has, I think, creative control, if you will, but they're going to get him out. But basically in that interview, he also talked about, growing up being a fan of Lil Wayne's music and how he realized that, Lil Wayne has put out a bunch of bullshit music. Like Lil Wayne ain't really talking about a bunch of stuff. And so that was the initial moment that he kind of went viral a few weeks ago with all of that. And I won't do a deep dive into the Lil Wayne thing. I talked about it for like 15 minutes on the last episode, but so that was his introduction to a lot of mainstream people was, oh, here's this guy, kind of shitting on a quote unquote, GOAT within hip hop. And then now this situation, and like, it's always one of those things. I don't know. I can't say that I'm an expert because I can't say I'm famous, so I never went through any of that. But there are times when you just kind of got to roll with the punches. You can't like fight the stream. Like if the internet is moving in one direction, you as one person don't have the power to sway the entire internet to come in a different direction. Like sometimes you got to lean into it, or sometimes just kind of let the shit die down or whatever, and then come back later. This doubling.
We see what happens when people try. And try to change the internet's opinion and beg and plead. Like it's
not gonna work.
How that ends. Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Like you're just memeing. You're just giving people extra memes, and you're just giving them extra content, and every time you gesticulate or do something on camera, you're just giving people more opportunities to screenshot and make a new GIF, or it's like,
don't make yourself the fucking main character of the internet and not the main character of the internet for multiple days. Like, don't do that. I will say, in kind of closing thoughts on LaRussell, my take on LaRussell is the challenge with Christians. I think this is kind of again fall into like kind of the Christian ideology of like you have a lot of Christians who kind of battle with this cognitive dissonance of like believing these contradictory things. And like, I mean, you know, the history of Christianity was passed down orally for, you know, fucking centuries before it was finally, you know, written down. And then you had the Roman government, pick which books were going to be the books that they were going to kind of finalize for the Holy Bible. And then they got rid of a whole bunch of books. And then you have it had got translated 1,000 fucking times in a bunch of different languages. And that's part of the reason why the Christian Bible is so disjointed and there's so many different contradictions within it. And I think that's the unfortunate part of indoctrinating people at a very young age into religion, and especially with Christianity, because then you grow up with all of this whole contradicting beliefs and having a hard time of kind of getting down to the root of what you're trying to explain to people. And then a bit of the challenge always comes down to when you put these people, their back up against the wall, all they'll say, you know, at the end to kind of get out of it is, oh, you know, like God works in mysterious ways. Like there's all these times. And so like, that's a bit of the thing going back to the, you know, God created Malcolm and Epstein and all this or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense.
You don't have to do any work. You don't have to do any work. You don't have to do any internal work. You don't have to do any external fucking work.
Yeah.
You know.
And when you're like, what about, you know, what about the tumors and what about all the bad stuff? Oh, God works in mysterious ways. And it's like, you can't have a fucking conversation. So LaRussell, if it's one thing I learned from him through all of this, and after I saw the way that he was doubling and tripling down with stuff, I unfortunately was like, I bet this nigga's a Christian. And I started looking it up, and sure enough, there's been some Christian music that he put out.
Was there any doubt? What?
I just needed the confirmation.
I heard one verse of one song. People?
That nigga's a Christian.
Yeah. Fucking better be after all that. He's like, nah, I did my dean. I took my dean, and me and Allah, peace and blessings upon him, or whatever the fuck. Like, come on.
Oh my God. Fucking LaRussell. So yeah, LaRussell, get off the internet, man. Just take a little break from arguing all this stuff. Focus on your happy, positive stuff that you're doing, and stop trying to sway the internet, because it's not working, and you're digging yourself an even deeper grave. And there's a bunch of people who had just recently got introduced to you and were like kind of championing you, and you have like rubbed a bunch of people the wrong way to damn near fucking Kanye levels. Like,
wait, he mentioned Kanye. He's like, Kanye too.
Kanye too. Oh, good fucking times. Now, speaking of some other stuff that was heaven sent, we got this heaven sent holy war that's fucking going on in the world. I guess moving into hour 2 and all the fun, serious stuff that's going on in the nation. U.S., Israel, Iran, and quite frankly, the entire fucking Middle East is at war right now, man.
Yeah, well, no, it's an active combat zone. It's or whatever, you know. They don't want to call it a war when it's
Operation Epic Fury, and for those who. And I would find it hard for anyone not to know the details. But yeah, essentially it was February 28th, which was on a Saturday, which I think is a key detail. I'll try to remember a little later on why that's a key detail. But the U.S. and Iran launched a surprise airstrike called Operation Epic Fury on Iran after quote unquote failed nuclear negotiations. And that operation was aimed to destroy Iranian, the military, missiles, nuclear infrastructure, and killed the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. I know I'm butchering these names.
Khamenei.
Okay, there we go. And my initial thoughts, and you mentioned earlier about two things can be true. So when the war first broke out, there's a guy I used to work with, and he's a first generation American, and his family is from Iran, and his parents, at least about a year ago, were still living out there in Iran. And when it got announced that the Supreme Ayatollah got murdered, that guy was posting a bunch of clips on his IG, you know, kind of celebrating that guy being dead, because, you know, he was saying that guy was a horrible person. And I had posted something on my IG about, you know, the U.S. going to war and so on and so forth. And not that guy, but a separate friend had hit me up and were like, oh, but you got to understand that Ayatollah guy was a bad person. And I was like, no, I was like, I hear you. But two things can be true. One, that dude was a bad guy doing bad shit. And yes, it's okay for some people to, you know, be glad that he's dead. But then two, the U.S. and Israel did not kill that motherfucker for the betterment of the people in that area. Like, this wasn't to help those people. Right. And it always goes back. It always reminds me of Saddam Hussein. When Bush sent in his people, killed Saddam Hussein, and then you have people celebrating, oh, this dictator is finally dead. He's finally dead. It's well, okay, in the short term, that is great. But what is the next plan? How do you stabilize that region after you take that dictator out? They didn't stabilize the region.
The dictator that was as dictatory as he was holding everything together, was keeping all these factions that hate each other, you know, in check. You know, and granted, you say, well, that guy's not going to live forever, and you know, it's whatever, 60-something-year-old man, I think at that point in 2003 when they got him. But you know, you're just creating a power vacuum that you have no intentions of filling or trying to like mitigate the suction of that damn vacuum. Nothing. It's just nothing. You're just like, well, the head of the snake is off. It's like, motherfucker, it's a hydra, you idiot. Like you didn't cauterize it, and another 6 might pop out. Like, and then now here we are doing not even similar shit, because at least back then they conned us into it. They spent 2 years getting us into a fucking lather as a country, and a stupid lather, you know, like obviously Iraq and Saddam had shit to do with Al-Qaeda and them. Fucking Al-Qaeda and them barely had anything to do with 9/11, if you know where to fucking look.
Yeah.
But you know, they got their boogeyman, and they got us again in a nice frothy lather, ready to go over there, and we all, me included, watch them tanks.
Yep.
You know, run across, haul ass across that desert. I remember my fucking heart was pounding, like, oh shit, I'm about to watch fucking new episode of War and shit. You know, like I ain't seen no shit like this since 5th grade. You know, so this was 2003. So I'm 23. I hadn't seen War on TV since I was 10. Yeah. Since the you know, first Gulf War, and it was different because obviously the TVs are better, and the footage, the cameras and stuff are a lot better in 2003 than they were in 91. But yeah, it was they didn't even do it. It was a surprise attack for Iran and the American people. We woke up on Saturday like, we did what now?
Yes, it was it was a fucking TikTok video, and I wish I could remember the creator's name. I would shout him out, but it's some creator. He does a bunch of like streaming and all that, and he has a clip from that weekend where he's up all night and he's streaming, playing video games, and so he's sitting there, he's playing the game, and he's talking with the chat or whatever, and then he looks and he was like, we fucking bombed who? It is like all of us woke up to, wait, what the fuck is going on? And I mentioned about it being on a Saturday and how I think that's a key thing. I don't have a full list of all of this, but I have noticed that there has been this trend with the Trump administration and with a bunch of the fuck shit that they've been doing, that they do a lot of this stuff, especially the intentional stuff that they're doing. They'll do it on the weekend. They'll do it on a Saturday. Yeah, they'll do it on a Saturday, which quite frankly looks like it allows a bunch of the people with stocks and all that to kind of figure out their positioning and all that before the stocks open up on Monday. I, again, not a fucking expert, but that it has just really stood out to me. Like over the past year, there's been so many events that I've woken up to on a Saturday where I don't remember this being a thing, where it's like I'm waking up on Saturdays and there's all these big events. That was just a pattern I have noticed over the past year or so.
Yeah, I don't think you're not wrong, and it's definitely a strategy and something that forethought is put into doing these various operations and big events on a Saturday.
Yes.
I bet you the bullshit little false flag that they got playing wherever, whether it's in California or whatever, I bet you that shit happens right on a Wednesday, right in the middle, just like Charlie Kirk, right in the middle of the week. So everybody has a lot of time to think about it,
and process it and have all the news
and to make their videos and yep.
Yes. And speaking of that false flag, that is one of the interesting things that have been going on since all of this. They had mentioned that Iran had planned on basically attacking us in some capacity. And then there was that story that leaked about the fucking military base that the people broke in and they stole the 4 drones. But then as people were diving into the story, that thing actually happened like over a year ago. And then people were like, oh, that's interesting that they're bringing that up now when that happened like a year ago. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's the reaction to that. It was so, the world we live in right now in 2026 is so strange. If you'd have told 2012 me, me that was like super into watching Zeitgeist and the 5-hour Money Masters documentary, and I'm all into my ancient archaeology stuff, and just, if you would have told me, oh yeah, grandmas are going to be talking about blood sacrifices and billionaire pedophiles and false flags, like in regular conversation in 15 years, I'd have been like, no way. I can show people, not even on some like steel beams don't, jet fuel don't, not even, just on some like archaeology shit. Like, hey, this is granite. And somebody cut this with laser precision 7,000 years ago. It's still polished to a shine, and if I run my hand over it too quickly, I might cut myself because the granite is cut so fine and so sharp. What's that about? I don't know. And maybe they did this, or maybe they did. It's like, but now it's just like, aliens are real. Fucking billionaires are literally eating children. It's just out in the open.
It's out in the open.
It's just so. But where was I going with this? We were talking about something. I swore I had a point.
The drones getting stolen.
Right. So it's just seeing America say to Hollywood or to that industry, that ain't Jim Carrey, suck my dick. And then a week later, go, them drones wasn't stolen. Iran ain't about to do nothing. Y'all about to false flag us. You and Israel, suck my dick.
Yeah. What? We
just go, nope, that ain't real. Look at that. Where them green eyes come from? 7,000. Iran is thousands of miles away. They can't hit us. They don't have the capacity. And they went, oh shit, we got to do something. We got to say drones got stolen or something, because people are not only are people not buying it, they're not buying it loudly. Right? Like, fuck off. I mean, within 5 minutes, there's 50 TikToks just making fun of Benjamin Netanyahu's 12 fingers. And it's like, yo, we're not buying the lies, the obvious ones, the subtle ones. No.
We're not buying any of this shit.
And it's amazing. And it's like, did we talk about the timeline convergence? I think I talked very briefly and in the TikTok DM. It's hard to. But like all of the CIA, what do they call people's? The ones that see.
Oh, the Project Looking Glass. I know what you're talking about. What is the name of them? I know what you're talking
about.
Remote
viewers.
There you go.
The remote, all the various remote viewers, the CIA ones, the good guy ones, whatever. They all say there is no future that they can look like. If they say, okay, think about us dropping a nuke on China in 2022. Go. Yeah. They say no matter what the parameters are, all of the timelines converge. And something happens in 2026 where all the timelines converge. Again, the good guy ones are saying it, the CIA ones. And then when shit like this happens, when Jim Carrey comes out and we go, nope. And when everybody's basically like, oh, Larry Silverman, whatever.
Yeah.
Bought the one that bought the 9/11, bought the towers, and then got the terrorism insurance that didn't exist before he got a terrorism fucking policy out on his 2 buildings.
Go ahead and create this policy real quick so I can get this.
Then got double paid because they both fell and made out like a fucking fat rat. And then they find out, oh, he just bought a couple floors in the U.S. Bank building tower in L.A. or wherever. And people immediately go, oh, y'all know it's my dad. and it's an amazing set of circumstances we found ourselves in. And I don't even say in this country, but in this fucking world we live in.
Yeah. That people are now...
If I didn't live through it, I would not believe it. Yeah, if I woke up from a coma, imagine you fell into a coma in 2014. Obama's still president. Things are just, status quo is status quoing. When you wake up now, like, what's happening? Well, there's a holy war. they're raising the perfect cow, the perfect heifer. They're burning they're doing all kinds of prophetic bullshit. And yeah,
it's insane. And going back to around when we first met online, we first started communicating, and then I remember Haterotzi, listening to a bunch of Haterotzi.
Oh, you put me on to Haterotzi.
Yeah, and with Jupiter and with all this stuff. And again, it's amazing to think back to that time, and then how some of those ideologies, some of those different ideas you would bring up, and about the fucking Sphinx being older than the pyramid, and just various things like that. Like, you could not have these conversations with people because it was so just left field. But like you said, now it's fucking mainstream, where I had sent you that clip of the guy, I forgot what show it was on, but the guy was talking about the fucking demiurge and how these people are worshiping him in Baal. It's like, oh my God, the mainstream people are talking about the false gods and all that. And I guess that's a good segue as we continue talking about the war of what is possibly actually going on. With this being a fucking holy war, and not a holy war in the sense of these are, people fear mongering, just trying to, oh my God. No, they have literally fucking said that this is a holy war. There was a U.S. watchdog organization called Military Religious Freedom Foundation, MRFF, and they received email complaints that U.S. service members were told the war with Iran is meant to cause Armageddon or the biblical end times. An unnamed non-commissioned officer wrote in an email to MRFF that a commander had urged officers to tell our troops that this is all part of God's divine plan. And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelations referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. And for those who don't know, the MRFF, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to upholding religious freedom for U.S. service members. So that is the reason why people were reaching out to them. People who don't believe in this fucking evangelical Christian shit were reaching out yo, these motherfuckers are talking about the end of times. Somebody needs to investigate this.
Officers, people high up, and they're telling their men, their soldiers and stuff, man, this is, you know, we're fighting for God or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, this is absolutely bonkers. Like, what is going on? Like, things went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Real fast.
You know, and people are putting things together with you know, one thing that's kind of always been bubbling under the conspiracy geopolitical surface is the real reason we went to Iraq. You know, that, you know, fucking portal or Gilgamesh's bones or all kinds of wild shit. It's like, you know, whether you believe it, you know, person listening to, or watching this, you know, podcast, like, somebody high up does. Like, they fucking believe this shit. So I don't think they're idiots. Yeah. Like, they're going on something. They found a tablet or a fucking Thoth tablet or a goddamn they found something, deciphered it, and they know something that we don't. They're communicating with somebody we can't. Something. And again, I think we're just going to go from 0 to 100. I don't think there's going to be gradual disclosure. I think, and I saw a lady on TikTok kind of put together my thoughts in this like kind of coherent way where it's like, are they trying to force, which I don't understand why you would hide aliens for 100 years and then try to force their hand. Like, if you guys try to drop a nuke on Iran in some kind of way, like, I believe when they say we've done nuclear shit in the last 60 years, but the aliens won't let it fucking happen. Like, nope. They basically come in. I mean, I've seen footage, but again, what's fucking real? Even before AI and all that stuff, it's like, what's real? I've seen nuclear warheads be disabled by a fucking extraterrestrial. At least that's what it was purported to be. Yeah. And that's been like the running kind of thing the last, 50 years. It's like, we've tried to do numerous shit and they just won't let it happen. So if they fuck around and try to drop a nuke on Iran and the bitch just hits in the middle of the goddamn, or do the aliens make themselves like known, not on some like, oh, we send an invisible drone to take it out or something like that you can explain away as phenomenon, some kind of weird phenomenon. Like, no, here come the fucking, X-Wing, the door pops open, squiggly fucking guy grabs the nuke, pulls it in and flips off the fucking deuces. The camera watching,
And that is the thing that's been interesting to me, because we are always having, there's always, different anomalies with like light patterns and things in the sky. I feel as if there has been an uptick in the past week of people reporting various lights in the sky.
Fucking goddamn meteor hit goddamn Ohio and nobody's even blinked. Like, oh.
Yes, a fucking meteor hit in Cleveland, Ohio. There's footage of people showing like all the damage that it did, the sonic boom that it caused. There was some other videos of it was in there because there were some videos in California and there were some videos in Texas. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like these three like kind of lights coming down where it kind of looked like a shooting star, like coming down, if you will. And the three of them are coming down. And then as they're coming down, one of them like slows down and stops and the other ones keep going. And then it kind of like changes its pattern and then starts going back up. What the
they're
fuck
like,
is
no,
that?
They're like, that's not a comet. No meteor is just going to make a hairpin turn and be like, I'm going to go this way instead. Like,
and there has been an uptick of this in the past week or so as the fucking U.S. and Israel talking about end times and quite frankly, a lot of what with the end times and with the Holy War. Also, there's a lot of that with the the Greater Israel Project of Israel trying to expand into the Middle East and take over more of that land as they saw it in the Bible. Because the Great Israel Project is expansion of Israel's borders beyond the 1967 lines, which is to include the West Bank.
Well beyond 1967 line. They're like, we're going to take a slice of Lebanon, Syria,
they want Lebanon,
Jordan,
the West Bank, the Gaza, and basically anything that was interpreted in the Bible as being part of the original Israel. They want all of that fucking land back. And Donald Trump was the mother. Oh, what up, homie?
Man. How rude.
We got to talking to aliens, and the cats have the origins with Egypt. So hold on, wait, what y'all talking about in here?
He's like, I'm communicating with my, I just need to get closer to get a clearer signal.
Let me communicate to the homelands.
He's slick. And this motherfucker's name is Conchu too. So
see, Conchu reaching in, tapping in. But yeah, and you had mentioned earlier about, so we have the nuclear shit, and like you mentioned, there's a bunch of people who are saying that maybe they're trying to kind of force the aliens' hands, because
you cannot force. You can't force the hand of God if that's like if the aliens are playing the role of God, like. But I mean, maybe you can, because their God's kind of stupid. Again, we talked earlier. I mean, if Mormons if the Mormon God can't differentiate purposeful sex and soaking. Like, if he's that much of a fucking moron, like, well, that person there is the one technically. He's the one, or she's the one that put it in.
I mean, semantics.
I mean, when your God's a fucking brain dead dummy like that, then maybe you can fucking Scooby-Doo goad him into, like, put a pie on the windowsill and fucking
lure him in.
Blow the aroma that way. So. But maybe they. But again, I don't think they're idiots. I'm talking about them like they're. So maybe they do know. Well, if we set this shit off, we're going to come. But they ain't going to come, and they better come and help us. They better not come and be like, "Oh, Pete Hegseth, hello, sir."
Peter Thiel, we've been looking for you. How you been doing? Our reptilian.
Here's that technology we promised you, Pete. To enslave humanity even more. I'd be so fucking pissed. I'd take myself out right then and there. I don't give a fuck. I'm climbing the tallest fucking structure, and I'm diving fucking esophagus first into the ground. Like,
what is the point? We have lost.
Yeah, you're our last hope. I thought 3i Atlas was coming to save the day, and then now I got a renewed hope that y'all sitting out there in lower orbit or whatever.
I was
just waiting.
I just knew that 3i Atlas was going to be something. Also, because going back to the original podcast, the I'm Black He's Mexican podcast, the very first podcast we did is Jay Electronica Black Jesus, because I had all these theories about who Jay Electronica actually was. And leading up to that 3i Atlas, Jay Electronica dropped 4 new albums out of nowhere, and he's talking about Ezekiel's will in it.
Fucking Nibiru, yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. I was like, he is Black Jesus. He's foretelling the recoming. And I'm like, these niggas just came and went. But maybe they didn't come and go, because that is one of the things as the pattern of 3i Atlas coming our way. It went behind the sun, and it disappeared for a while behind the sun, and then left our orbit. Who knows what happened when it went outside of the view of the sun? I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Who knows?
Bust a Yui. We got unfinished business.
Come help us out. But yeah.
Or fucking kill us. I don't care. I gotta just make a fucking do
get
something.
Us to the next step.
Fucking enslave us. That'll be a fucking new thing. Like, at least like mundane fucking life of paying rent and being fucked over by my paycheck and shit. It's, yeah. Oh, I gotta mine fucking materials for the fucking Zigzorg and Bleedlork? Fine.
You need this gold for your atmosphere? Okay, fuck it. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's do it. Yeah, at least I ain't got to clock into work in the morning.
I mean, you do, but you know.
It's
just an implant in your neck, and it's automatic, and yeah.
But I will say the thing that I have been thoroughly interested with, and actually shouts out to Professor Jiang. I've been deep diving. I've started following him on Predictive History, his YouTube channel. And for those who don't know, I initially got introduced to the Professor Jiang. He had a video that was recorded. I want to say it was like a few months before the 2024 election, before Trump beat out Kamala. He made a video where he basically kind of predicted that Donald Trump was going to win the election, and then he talked about everything that was going to happen after Donald Trump won. And part of that was that by 2027, the U.S. was going to go to war with Iran, and he mapped it out because of Trump's ties with, of course, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner is in bed with Netanyahu. Jared Kushner is in bed with the Saudi Arabia supreme leader over there. And Saudi Arabia and Israel both benefit from Iran being destabilized. Both of those countries will benefit from Iran not having the power that they currently have, or, and having access to the resources and all that. And so that was my initial introduction to Professor Jiang. I started following, watching a lot of his videos. And then as I've been diving into his videos, this man is scratching that part of my brain as he is into a lot of the stuff I have been into. He has talked a lot about Gnostic Christianity. Anyone who knows me knows I have been talking a ton about Gnostic Christianity for the past fucking 15 years, about how when you look at the Old Testament from the lens of Gnostic Christianity, that God is not the true God. That is the false God, the demiurge, who is actually enslaving all of the people. And it's a very jealous and angry God. And that's the reason why.
Arga? He's got a fucked up name, too.
Yeah, Yagarba or something like that.
Yalzaboth or some shit. Yalzaboth. Yeah.
Something crazy like
nerd.
that. Now he's a false god. He's very jealous. He's very angry. And when you look at it from the lens of that, and then also when you look at the story of Adam and Eve, and when you look at the snake as being the hero of, the snake wasn't the bad guy that tricked them into sinning. The snake was the one who gave them access to the apple, that gave them the knowledge to wake themselves up to realize.
Snake was the only one who told the damn truth.
He was the only one keeping it 100 with them. He was the only one. And so I've been, thoroughly researching and into Gnostic Christianity for quite some time, and going through Professor Jiang videos, he talks about that also. And there was a video I'm gonna play in a second where he talks about what's going on today currently, and he talks about how there is essentially a false god. And it kind of goes back to what you were mentioning, how you were like, they're doing all these things, and whether we believe them or not, like, they know something, or they're trying to do something. There's some type of intellectual thought behind the things that they're doing. It's not just them, shooting in the dark. They're doing all this stuff for a reason. And part of that may be of them trying to trigger Armageddon, try to, please the gods or whatever, is because they are aware that we are following false gods, if you will, and there's a different god that they have access to, which could be the demiurge, and that is where all the child sacrificing is coming from. That's where a lot of the incest and all that crazy shit that's coming from. It's spiritual rituals that they do to become closer to the demiurge, to the false god. And actually, I'm gonna play this clip real quick of Jiang. Yeah, I think this is the one.
What kind of God would say to someone, "You're the only person I like, everyone else I hate"? A monster would do that. Okay? So, in other words, the true secret that these secret societies are trying to keep is the God we worship today is the false God. And we are actually in a prison created by this false God. And that's who Jesus was. Jesus was a cosmic being sent by the monad to tell us the truth about the world. And that's why he died, because the Roman Empire could not allow people to see the truth. If I told you the truth, you would know it right away. You would wake up. Therefore, the truth tellers must be killed, okay? So that's what these secret societies believe. They believe that the monad exists, And the mind of the monad is what creates the universe. And Jesus was said to remind us that even though we're in a prison, there's still the monad in you. There's a spark in you, a divine light in you that you can activate. And if you activate it, then you will return to the monad. You will see the truth for yourself. And when you die, your soul, which is part of the monad, will want to return to the monad and can escape this world. But to activate this light, you must be a good person. You must love one another. You must reject money and materialism. And grades, okay? Grades in school. You must reject competition. You must reject material wealth in order to pursue spiritual happiness. Okay? That was the message of Jesus. Now you can imagine that the powers that be, the Nephilim, would not like this, okay? It's a direct threat to Nephilim, who now control the prison created by the demiurge. It's also a direct threat to the demiurge. And that's why these secret societies have been, over the centuries, been repressed, been executed, okay, been massacred. But they believe that it is their duty to protect the secret, because only by protecting the secret can humanity be ultimately saved.
So all that is very interesting to me, being someone into Gnostic Christianity, and then his telling of Jesus. That is one of the things that I call out to people who don't know a lot about Gnostic Christianity, and going back to the Council of Nicaea and which books that they selected and all that. And the people who listen to the podcast, I talk about this ad nauseum, and sorry, I'm gonna talk about it again because this is very important, I think. When you go back to the original Holy Bible and the books that they picked during the First Council of Nicaea, they selected all of the Christian Gospels that talked about respect authority, stay in line, pay your tithes, respect the government. Like, you stay in line, this is what you do, and you listen to your preacher, your pastor, your bishop, and you stay in line. They got rid of all the Gnostic texts, where Jesus and the Gnostic texts, Jesus is a motherfucking hippie.
Anything matriarchal too. They got rid of all anything that propped
women
up
in power. Yep. Yeah. And all of the Jesus in the Gnostic book is completely different. He goes, from house to house, and he's like, yo, don't listen to authority, don't care about these worldly possessions. Like, you need to separate yourself from this existence. That's how you get to the next level. That's how you reach the divine heaven, if you will. And that's what baptism was through Gnosticism. Is gnosis is knowledge, and you got baptized by being educated. Hey, I stop by your door, I tell you, hey, yo, fuck this world. You are not part of this world. You need to disconnect from this world. I now have unplugged you from this matrix. You have been baptized. But of course, the Roman government, they didn't like that shit. They were like, we can't get no money off this. We can't control these people. We need to have them follow this other path, which tells them to, you listen to what the fuck we tell you, and you guys don't stand up to authority. And that's quite frankly why I feel that is the reason why, and especially a lot of the Christian people on all the sides of Christianity within America, and with what's going on with Trump and all this authoritarianism, that's the reason why a lot of Americans, and I guess this would go for religions across the world, but that's the reason why a lot of people don't stand up and fight, because they have been taught through religion, just wait it out. Just wait it out. God's going to come back and save you. And even if God doesn't come back to save you, when you die, you're going to go to heaven. You'll be good there. So don't stand up and fight for anything. That is false gods. Yeah.
Matter of fact, show your throat, because the next life is fucking king. It's so wonderful. Kingdom on earth or heaven on. Well, I don't know, whatever the fuck. Kingdom in heaven or some shit. Well, no, I'm here now. Can I make this heaven on earth? Can I do? Yeah. Can we do something to make right now better?
That is the greatest trick that the people in power did, was they tricked everyone into believing that their heaven was in the afterlife while they're enjoying their heaven here on earth. And I've had this conversation. I've had this argument with some Christians before, and there was someone I was having this argument with where we're talking about Trump and the Trump administration, and I was talking about, I was calling them, Christian, and they were getting mad. They were, oh no, those aren't Christians or whatever. I'm a Christian. The Trump administration is not Christian. I was like, well, why are they not Christian? I was like, they worship God. They quote unquote go to church. They praise Jesus. They do the crosses and all that. And it was like, oh, but all this stuff with Epstein files and all that. I was like, but if you look in the Bible, doesn't the Bible say that no sin is greater than the other sin? And so like your sin being that you cuss and that you eat shrimp, and their sin being that they fuck children, y'all are still committing the same level of sin. And both of y'all believe that if you just, pray to Jesus and get baptized, you'll be saved. So they are just experiencing their heaven on earth, and they're just getting deeper into the sins because according to your book, all sin is equal.
Yep, me wearing cotton and polyester is just
as bad as all this gay sex.
Same as well, the thing is, that's from just going by commandments. Like gay sex or nothing in the damn. Oh, and that's another thing. I mean, just that's the one rant I'll allow, or now I won't, or not allow. I won't expound on too much. Yeah. The original thing in Leviticus was about being a fucking pedo. Yes. It was like a man shouldn't lay with a fucking child. Yeah, with a boy. Yeah, they don't give a fuck about girls, even if they're most progressive. They still didn't. Yeah. But yeah, it was man should not lay with boys, and it was changed to men, and well, we want to keep some wiggle room, and it's just. Did that happen by happenstance because of translation? And then or was it purposefully well, if we fudge this, then we can do this later on. It's well, who knows? That's just speculating at that point. But it's, it's all so nakedly and obviously if this is divinity, if this is the hand of the divine. Yeah. Again, I've said it multiple times. Your God's fucking dumb because it's just so much contradictory stuff. And I know we've gone through a bunch of translations, and King James did a whole,
Shakespearean twist to it.
Made his own dramatized version, but that was more not based on a true story. What's the other version? When on a TV show, based on true events. They could say it's based on the events, but it's not based on the story.
That's the true story, but just some events happen, and
some of the events happen, and
play around with some of the details
on it. Yeah. So he made his own choose your own adventure Bible, and but I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just. It's so blatantly contradictory, and it's like the hand of man is all over these things. It's either your divine God is kind of slow, or your divine God was probably flesh and blood like you and me, and just a powerful person of some sort, being whatever he was or it was.
And I have to find the Professor Jiang video that he talked about this, but he had one video where he did a deep dive into the important figures within the Christian Bible, going back to Adam and Eve, and then talking about the bloodline with Moses and Noah. And he also talked about David and Jesus. And it was interesting because his take was that the man, if you will, behind the original Christian ideology was clearly David, if you read through the text, because how the text everyone is described as, these are the good things about them, these are the bad things about them, before you get to the Jesus part of it, because, they describe Jesus as being perfect. But before you get to that, they talk about the good and the bad with all the various people. But David, when David is described, he's described damn near as perfect as Jesus. And basically, he was like, when you know how storytelling goes and the narrator or whatever, he was like, clearly David was the narrator of this because he made everybody else have these good and bad sides to them. But he was like, David is portrayed as this damn near perfect being. And so he was like, chances are that was the person who wrote it. That guy David was the guy because he wanted to shine. It's the same thing if I always, you know, use the analogy when, you know, I have conversations with people about the first council in Nicaea and talking about the King James version of the Bible. Like if the current administration were to rewrite, you know, the Bible, would you still trust it? And 9 times out of 10, they would say no. But let's say that were to happen today, and let's say, you know, Trump decided to give himself, you know, a chapter or whatever. Trump, similar to David, would paint himself as absolutely perfect, and everybody else around him had all these flaws. But I was this great motherfucker. And then, of course, fucking 200-300 years from now, people will be like, man, that goddamn Trump guy was a walking embodiment of perfection on earth. Like, history is written by the winners.
Unfortunately, but unfortunately. Yes. Have you ever gotten into the Islamic or Jewish magics, for lack of a better term? Like the Gnostic is just basically the magic version, you know, the magic offshoot of Christianity. And Sufism is the magic branch of Islam, and the Kabbalah.
No, I need to look into that.
Kabbalah is if Sufism is the most, I think, magical in its like form.
Okay.
Like it's like man, you read it and you're like, man, this is like they knew they was on some like majestic shit.
Okay.
You know, when it was written. But the Kabbalah is just and the Gnostic Bible are just kind of lost text, especially in the Gnostic part. But the Kabbalah is crazy. Kabbalah talks about aliens and the different foods different aliens eat and the worlds they come from. It's
okay.
Yeah, when you get really deep into it, it gets wild.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive. I just loaded those up in the computer. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive into those too, because that's how, and you know, I have these conversations with people, and you know, the way I go after Christianity, a lot of people assume that I'm atheist. I'm not atheist. I believe in, you know, a source, a higher power. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in religion. And I think the important thing for any of all of us to do, and it goes back to the question, everything, you have to kind of understand the origins. And so like, okay, you believe in Christianity, look into the origins of the Orthodox Christianity. And then once you understand that, then move over to the more magical side of it with Gnosticism, dive into that. Okay, cool. You figured that out. Okay, now let's dive through Islam. And then just like you said, then, okay, once you understand that, dive into this Sufism, like you got to see both sides of the story, and then somewhere in the middle is where the answers are. And then also you got to go back to Egypt and Mesopotamia where all these fucking things started, because quite frankly, a lot of this stuff is just retelling of, you know, their old ancient tales. And yeah, the truth is somewhere in between all of that. And it was a bunch of people who probably weren't well, I mean, they by all definition was not scientifically literate, and they were trying to explain what's going on. And that's why I am fascinated with the ancient aliens concept, not so much so the show, because I think some of the stuff on the show was just like, hey, how can we explain why black people didn't create this stuff? Let's figure out how it was some aliens that did these pyramids and shit. But I do dive into a bunch of the ancient alien stuff, because quite frankly, I think that's what a lot in the Bible, when they're talking about the aliens and the beams coming from the sky, it sounds like they're talking about a cosmic war.
Right. Like all you have to do is like look at Byzantine art, you know, like when there was no like obvious censorship. Just like in every depiction of the crucifixion, there are beings in the sky, whether they're depicted as angels, like people with wings on their back, and a few, but most of them, they are people inside vessels, inside conveyances, in the sky, in like a little spaceship.
Yeah,
that's the only fucking way to describe it. So yeah, Byzantine art is, you know, gives away a lot of this stuff. I mean, the answers are there. You know, like things are there. You just got to know where to look. Yeah. I don't want to say how to interpret, because that's gets into kind of a, you know, wonky territory, but you know how to interpret stuff. I mean, you got to look at stuff with modern eyes. I mean, snakes don't talk, right? We know snakes don't talk, and magic in that way doesn't exist, or at least in a way we can tap into it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck was?
What are they trying to tell us,
fam? When I saw the War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise one from like 2005 or so, and they had that long fucking snake with the you know that was going through the houses looking. You know, it was still like it was like a tentacle or whatever, like looking for people, and then they had the LED screen on the end of it, and you saw Tom Cruise's reflection in it. I was like, that's the fucking talking snake. I was like, that's the talking snake. We know the acacia bush has one of the highest amounts of DMT, certainly in that region, you know, and Moses was talking to the fucking burning acacia bush and saw and talked to God. Like, yeah, just look at things with a slightly different perspective, with modern eyes, with the understanding that magic doesn't fucking exist. Certainly not in a way where you can do abracadabra and fucking talk things into existence. We can't do that. And for real, it's just technology. Yeah. You know, talking things into existence is probably a form of technology that we just don't know how to do.
We just haven't got.
We can't expose that dimension. It's right there. I just can't interact with it because I don't know the phrase, I don't know the frequency, I don't know the whatever it is.
The technology has been lost because it was here at some point, and it was a bunch of people writing tales about a bunch of technology that they did not fucking understand, and they assumed it was magic and angels and demons.
Yeah, I mean, shit. The damn Vedic text and the Mahabharata and all that, all the Indian stuff. It's just full of space fucking technology and space wars and nuclear fucking fallout.
Yeah.
And then you go to the area where the shit happened in this valley, and then you find like a sheet of glass.
Glass melt.
You know, when you dig deep enough, like, oh, some kind of
something exploded that was super
thousands of years ago
and
melted every damn thing.
And maybe that's what they were trying to tell us in those stories.
So it's just a way of looking at things. If you don't just go, well, pastor said this, and I don't have fucking two brain cells to rub together, so I'm gonna just think. I'm gonna just, you know,
God works in mysterious ways.
God works in mysterious ways. Yeah. Baby cancer.
Yeah. And lastly, before we get out of here, kind of what you had mentioned with that, and just the perspective, and then lastly, wrap up Professor Jiang and my love affair with watching all of his stuff nowadays. It also reminds me of the Plato story of the allegory of the cave. And for those who don't know the allegory of the cave, it's and actually I think he goes into detail. So actually, let me share the video. He explains the allegory of the cave, but I think this explains kind of what's going on in the world and the lies and the secrets of the universe. So
you've been tricked. Okay, that's how the world works. They're the ones who have the capacity to create reality. Okay, you understand this? Now the powers behind them, these people have the power to create reality. So what I need to do is trick them into creating the reality that I want them to create. Does that make sense? Okay? So these are the powers that be, and they hide in the shadows. And they give you tricks. They use deception, manipulation, in order to trick you into thinking that you're a slave. And they're tricking you into wanting to create a reality that they want you to create, but which you think you want to create. Okay? And that's how the world works. We are the ones with the power of God. We're the ones with imagination. The ones behind us don't have an imagination. They have power, but they don't have imagination. Okay? So they need to trick us into wanting to create the world they want us to create. And this is how the world works, guys. Right? Why are you in school being a slave? We say, I'm not being a slave. I'm being free. I'm in school so I can get into a good college, make a lot of money, and live a happy life. Okay? You've been tricked. But the truth is, no, no, no. You don't need money to be happy. You don't need anything to be happy. You have yourself. Okay? You have your imagination. You have the capacity to love anyone. If you just love your mother, if you just love your father, if you love everyone around you, you'll be happy. You don't need money. Like, no, no, no. I need $1 billion to buy my brother a Porsche. I need to buy my mother a yacht. That's what my mother really wants. You've been tricked. Okay? That's how the world works.
And yes, that is how the world works. Actually, I wasn't the clip, but either way, the allegory of the cave is the whole Plato story of someone, it's people growing up in a cave. They're, chained down in the cave, and there's a fire behind them, and all they can see is the shadows that are reflected onto the cave wall. And they're sitting there and they're chained, and all they know about reality is the shadows that they see on the wall. And then, people are walking in between them and the fire, and, people are walking and they're holding like pots above their head and all that. And so the people who are chained up, who they can only see the shadows on the wall, they're like, oh my God, there's these beings out here with these long, elongated heads. And it's like, it's not elongated heads. It's just people walking with, pots on their head, but your perspective is what you see that's on the wall. You don't know what's actually going on. And in the allegory of the cave, one of the guys, breaks free from the chains. He leaves out, he goes and he sees the actual real world. He's like, oh shit, there's a whole world out here, and there's all these animals and creatures and cities and all this stuff that we never seen before. And then he goes back into the cave and he tries to tell the people, hey, we can break free of these chains. And, there's this world outside. And the people get violently angry with him, and they want to attack him and kill him because they're like, no, this is the world we know. This is what we're comfortable with. This is what we know. We don't want to hear that bullshit that you're telling us. And I think the allegory of the cave is a great example of what is going on in the world. Is you have a bunch of powerful people who have, the history is written by the winners. They have selected what religious texts and what gods they want us to worship and how they want us to worship them. And they're doing all these various things. And there's only a select few that have actually broke free of that cave. And you're trying to come back out and tell all these other people, like, hey man, there's actual real world going on out here. And they're like, no, I'm fucking comfortable with these shadows on the wall. You get the fuck out of here. But I do think we're reaching a critical point where there are some people who are starting to wake up. I think, it's kind of coming from both sides, or all the various sides, if you will. And hopefully we as a society could come together and conquer all of this craziness. Because once again, everything, everywhere is all happening at once. And it's rather insane.
It does make me believe in the idea that you don't need everyone or even half of the population to quote unquote wake up. Mm-hmm. You just need 7%. I don't know whatever the percentage, but it's like whatever the percentage is, it's like low. You go, wow, that's all you really need to create like a cascading effect. And it's like, oh, have we finally have we hit that threshold? Is that why grandmas are talking about, billionaire pedos and fucking
adrenochrome and
yeah. I mean, and whatever is supposed to happen is supposed to happen in the first half of the year. So if there's going to be some kind of weird enlightenment or some kind of event that we all experience together as a planet, and the only thing I can think of is aliens. Like, what else could enlighten us all? Because everything isn't, I'm not taking it as like we're all going to get hit with a magic beam in our heads and we're going to all have a mass vision or something.
Yeah.
Just like apocalypse doesn't mean death and destruction. It just means enlightenment and fucking a new dawn, basically, like answers.
Yeah.
So enlightenment it just means something new.
Yeah.
And aliens showing up on all four corners of the planet or whatever would do exactly that.
And I do believe it would do exactly that, because I look back at like 9/11. After 9/11 happened, the U.S. was attacked by an external force. And for at least a week or so after 9/11, that was the first time I could say that I like truly felt like an American. Like all of us were like united and we were all one because of this external threat. And that's what it's going to take for the world to be.
But you know why that didn't last?
Huh?
Well, one, because of propaganda, but because it's trauma bonding. I mean,
yep, that's a good call out.
You know, we all bonded over some shit a terrible event. I think that's why it was so easy by goddamn January 2002. We were all, back at each other's throats, and we certainly, we had an extra emphasis on hating Muslims and stuff, but we still went back to the traditional, our traditional corners and built our walls back up and did all the things. But again, that's because the bond was on like. But then people would say, well, me and my buddy in Vietnam, we stayed friends, till our 80s, till our dying day, because, I had to, found his foot and stowed it back home, whatever the fuck, and it's like, well, yeah, that's super traumatic and stuff.
Yeah, and that's a different level of trauma bonding. Yeah, that's more direct of the two of them.
That's a personal one-on-one thing. I'm talking about 300 million people in a country that all went through something.
Yeah.
That kind of like, it's based on, but if 300 million people or the whole world, 8 billion people go through something that's transcendent and we all learn something. It don't have to be like, oh, fucking hippie love and we get hit with a love beam, but just we all like literally everybody in this moment, we're all going to be able to be like, yeah, we all went through this thing together and the world fucking changed like in a real tangible way. Not, well, yeah, after 9/11, the world changed because of the Patriot Act and fucking, tortured, fucking Guantanamo and enhanced torture fucking stuff. But I think the opposite would happen or could happen if you just
possibly,
if we all have this thing together with something that's not like terrible.
I will say what I'm curious of, because there is a date coming up soon that I'm kind of nervous about. Easter is getting ready to come up, and with Christianity, Easter is the return of Jesus, and like I don't know if they're trying to. With
so that's the thing. If they drop a nuke in or around Easter Sunday or some dumb shit, But how do you go to? I mean, imagine dropping a nuke and then going, "Welcome, Jesus. That was for you."
Jesus, come back. We dropped this nuke for you.
What? He's like, I ain't coming. Ew. Like y'all ghetto as shit down there. I'm not coming back then. Like y'all know what y'all did to me before y'all had nukes. I'm gonna let y'all get my hands on me again.
I love that joke of alien and humans having a conversation, and the human brings up something.
We gave him chocolates.
He's like, Jesus comes every year, and and he was like, yeah, we give him chocolates and we have a good time. And what did you guys do?
It starts off with, oh man, we're waiting for Jesus. It's been 2,000 years, and the alien goes, 2,000 years? We see Jesus twice, every summer or whatever. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, he comes and we bring him chocolates or whatever. But why? What did y'all do when he showed up the first time?
Well, what had happened was,
you see, it wasn't me, but yeah.
Man, and on that,
all of a sudden, we'd understand what white people. I didn't have slaves.
I didn't do it.
Wasn't me.
That was the ancestors. I didn't have a play in that. Oh, my man Trav. On that note, I appreciate you, my man, coming on.
Man.
I know you're East Coast, and I don't know daylight savings time and all that. So I don't know if we're 2-3 hours
11:35.
apart. Oh my God, it's 11:35. So I appreciate you staying up and us getting a chance to fucking reconnect on the podcast front. And I'm definitely gonna have you on more often, man.
Yeah, let's not wait another decade.
Yeah. Let's do it a lot sooner than another decade. Because
I'm not doing. I'm not, since I haven't done the wrestling stuff in about 2 years. So my voice, I don't get to talk to an audience or about topics and shit anymore. So this was fun.
This was fun.
Get the old juices back. Yeah. Like, I'm about to call Rich. Like, hey, man, you want to get the band back together?
Let's bring the boys back.
But I would have to start watching wrestling again, and I ain't watched wrestling since SummerSlam 24.
Yeah, it's been a little minute for me too. I've been tapped out for quite some time, especially with the WWE. I still watch clips and stuff online, but yeah, I've been.
It's all Obafemi. Take out Brock.
Shouts out to that. I love the tear in his eye. He got emotional with all that, and I hope that Obafemi beats the absolute dog shit out of Brock and throws him in a dumpster on behalf of all the black men that fucking Brock has defeated after they have won the world championships. He needs to.
Kofi said, "Avenge us,
avenge us, avenge us."
Yeah.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
All right, peoples. It's been a blast.
My man. So I appreciate you. And until next time, my man.
Most
take care. All right. 1.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light that America is coming to set wrong from right? With the rocket's red glare, you'll be liberated. That is, if you're not obliterated. We're on Netflix, gallantly streaming while our drones are out intervening, pushing the world further into a crisis. Genocide's better than higher gas prices. We are the bad guys now. I guess that we are the bad guys now. Or have we always been comprised of sin? Power-hungry Americans. Shame on Russia for Ukraine. Then we turn around and do the same. Looking back, it's a long history of sticking our dick where it shouldn't be. Don't care about life, just care about winning. If you hear explosions, that's freedom ringing. We are the bad guys now. Guess that we are the bad guys now. I guess that we are the bad guys now. I guess that we